The series against the Dodgers, going out there and beating the team that had just won the World Series, did that give you extra confidence when you look at this team and the belief that you guys not only can contend for a World Series, but actually can win a World Series?
I do think that was a great test for this group because we've been playing really well for a while, but sure, you can question if this is just some stroke of luck. You can question the strength of the opponents, which I don't think is fair. Every team in the big leagues is a big league caliber team, and on any given night, the outcome can be anything. But when you go to Dodger Stadium and you play the way that those guys did, I don't know how you walk away from that with any thought other than we have a chance to do exactly what we've talked about, which is to make the postseason, to make a deep postseason run, and to compete for a World Series championship. And more than for me or for anyone else who isn't playing, I think it was a great indication of that for our players and for Trace and for our staff.
Talk that talk, Craig. Talk it. And take a looky at the AL East division. Lucy told you this team was coming for you, Yankees. Sucker! They're on the Yankees' hind parts. And Tampa Bay, you're next. How about them Red Sox, Luce?
This looks beautiful, and it's something that maybe Cam Schlittler should see, because he was talking about the standings not reflecting that the Yankees suck, and we shouldn't say that. That doesn't really speak to that now, does it? Because they're only one game behind the Yankees. So I remember a time earlier this season where the Red Sox were down at the bottom, and that's when we were saying they're dead, or some people were saying they're dead, I still said they're going to win the division. Now look at where they are.
Started from the bottom, now they're here, Lucy. 617-582-CHAT. So who deserves the most credit for the turnaround? We had a caller. Take a listen to who he thinks.
It is unbelievable the amount of wins that the Red Sox have had with Chad Tracy, but I'm wondering if Chad Tracy manages to bring this team to the postseason, should he be signed on as a full-time manager? Even though he's interim right now, I really believe he should be a full-time manager. I don't know what you guys think.
Okay, so we talk about this often. By the way, 617-582-CHAT. Get in here, join the discussion. Who deserves the most credit here for the turnaround? We all are unanimous that should be dropped and he should be the guy. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they need to do it right now.
No.
There's literally no reason to do it right now.
No, I think that'd be bad to do it right now.
Right. Yes.
You'll mess
Don't
with
mess with anything.
The second the season ends, whenever that might be,
he's the guy.
This is your job.
By the way, in low key, I think him and Breslow are like hip and hip now.
Good,
like I see that as a package deal, right? And Breslow certainly we had questions about before this, but now I see them as synonymous. I see Chad Tracy and Craig Breslow as a package deal, and I want them both here.
Brenda, I need you to get Lou on the phone at some point. I need to know what's happening here. I need to know what he's saying to Chad, because look how animated he is. He's never been that animated in his life, Chad Tracy.
They're talking ball, bruh.
He's talking, it looks like he's talking about a conversation he had with somebody. Saying something about something.
Loomer, get him on the phone, Brenda.
I have a lot of questions for Lou, this being one of them. But I absolutely think Chad Tracy is the guy. The players respond to him. Look what he has carried this team through all of this. I think the end of the season would be the time to do it. Like the day the World Series parade ends, and they're saying, "Oh, tomorrow we have a press conference with Chad Tracy," and that's when they do it.
It's going to be so much funnier when he wins Manager of the Year, when it's interim Manager of the Year, or if they win the World Series, you win it as an interim manager. It's funnier that way, so don't change anything.
Yeah, is Craig Breslow Executive of the Year?
So here's the kind of the conversation we're having coming in,
Fair
right?
question.
Who deserves the bigger piece of the pie in terms of why they're where they're at?
The credit.
And I had a feeling a lot of the people in the studio were going to think managerial, Chad Tracy came in, that's when the change happened. I think without a shadow of a doubt, it's Craig Breslow.
Yeah.
If you look at the roster and the guys who have actually made an impact on this team, take Wilyer Abreu out, take Cedar Rafael, two big pieces for sure. Everybody else is a Craig Breslow guy, somebody that he brought in to fulfill the role that they're, and it's not just guys who we kind of figured, like Sonny Gray, right? We knew he was going to be at least decent. Wilson Contreras, we knew he was going to be a good player for him, but Jake Bennett, trading your top pitching prospect for a guy that no one's ever heard of, and he's in the conversation for AL Rookie of the Year. Peyton Tolley, guy that he drafted, they knew that he was going to be able to get up quickly and make an impact on in big league level early on. He did exactly that. You can go up and down the list. Andrew Monasterio hitting doubles all over the place at shortstop. He kept you alive at shortstop after Trevor Story went down. Caleb Durbin obviously has turned into a really good player at third base. He's built a team out of scraps, essentially. And for the last 2 months, they've been the best team in baseball. And he deserves the credit, in my opinion.
I completely agree. In fact, even just when you think of strategically, right? Like, I remember sitting up here, especially me and Joe, just yelling about the same damn thing. You know we're loud. About needing a bat. You need some offense. It can't be all pitching. It can't be all defense. Right. Listen, I mean, it's worked. It took a while, but it's worked. And if you look at playoff baseball, that's really what wins. Pitching, defense. Right. Not saying offense doesn't matter. The bats have come alive, and we love that. But in the end, philosophically, he was right. He was right.
Hey, we talked about it last year where with the Red Sox, they were able to manufacture runs late in the season, but they didn't have any pop, right? They couldn't hit home runs. And then we talked about it earlier in the year. No 20 home run guys, right?
Right.
You have Wilson Contreras, you have Wilyer Abreu. Roman Anthony coming down the line, maybe ready for the playoffs. Adley Rutschman's going to be inserted into this lineup sooner rather than later. Curtis Mead, if he's able to get back for the postseason. Last year, no doubt. They could play better defense toward the end of the year. They could manufacture runs. They can do all those things. But what they can also do this year, what they couldn't do last year, is they had a little bit of pop in the bat. They could hit the ball out of the ballpark, especially at Yankee Stadium, especially at Fenway Park. So I think that's the big difference. He was able to attack that need and add that to this.
It's almost like he doubled down on the strengths, but also addressed the weakness.
I know what we do well. Let's really lean into that. But let's also, on the backside, fix some of these things that were detrimental.
Okay, Luz, so half of the pie on this side, we're giving to Craig Breslow. What's that side talking about?
So I'm going a different way. I am giving the credit to Caleb Durbin because I see it as, yes, they can change, like Craig Breslow and Chad Tracy can create the framework and change the philosophy and all this stuff. The players on the field are the ones I think that actually ignite the change and enact it because they're actually on the field. That's why the Brady Belichick argument is Brady, because he's on the field doing the actual winning and playing. And with Caleb Durbin, and I think Wilson Contreras, the argument in this vein could be made as well. But with Caleb Durbin, he has made the biggest turnaround and biggest impact on this lineup. And at the trade deadline, people were saying they need a power bat, they need a bat, they need a bat. They have them, and I was saying this. They have bats. They just need to be up to that standard. They need to perform as they are on paper, and now they are. And Caleb Durbin is one of those guys because his turnaround has been incredible. And so this is just a little stat that I found. He is grounded into just one double play in his past 57 games after hitting into 5 in his first 49.
His first at bat as a Red Sox?
First at bat. Yeah. That stuff will kill you as just a lineup, as a team. Cleaning that stuff up for Caleb Durbin. Meanwhile, all the other stuff he's cleaned up, he's taken his batting average from like 160 to like 1 million. So this turnaround for Caleb Durbin, I think, is kind of the core of the rest of the turnaround for this team.
I love that. The Red Sox go as Caleb Durbin goes.
That's what I think. I truly believe that.
It's true.
I think he's the poster child of the turnaround.
You agree?
No. You want my answer?
Yeah.
John Henry deserves the most credit for the turnaround.
Ness and Joe Murray, everyone.
Ness and Joe,
That's Ness and Joe Murray.
It's a fact.
Where's the check?
John Henry has a history of pivoting and getting teams from worst to first. Historically has done it.
That's true.
This was the worst team in baseball. It was laughable at times. He turned it around. He made the move on Alex Cora. He empowered Craig Breslow to make the moves that Keegan just broke down. They moved on from drive line. They moved away from building the team and the organization from within. He approved the moves to get Adley Rutschman. He approved moving on from literally your farm system.
Paid pitchers in the offseason.
For years, they had a big four. They had Roman Anthony, they had Campbell, they had Kyle Teal, who they traded,
Meyer.
and they had Marcelo Meyer. They made a decision on 2 of them and traded them both. The other guys are here. One's still in the minors. The other's supposed to be the face of the team.
Both got paid, though.
Both did get paid, but they chose at least two of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my point is that whenever the team gets at its worst, there's no one better at pivoting in this town, in any sport in this town. And I'm not trying to be Ness and Joe. It's fact. John Henry can pivot better than any owner in this town, and he did it with the Boston Red Sox. He empowered Craig Breslow. He empowered Chad Tracy, and now they are rolling. And I give the credit to ownership because they wanted to build from within. They wanted to control those young players and those young assets. And they made the decision to change and go in a different direction with major league talent and winning now, going away from maybe typically hitting home runs to small ball and running the bases.
Pivot.
You just heard Wilyer Abreu say that's their identity. Everybody's believing. It starts at the top, guys, and they empowered everybody, and they're all rowing the same way.
If you trace this thing back to its infancy, a decision needed to be made in April. Are we going to go in the direction of Chad or Craig Breslow, or are we going to go in the direction of Alex Cora?
Right.
That decision came down to John Henry and the ownership group. And they made the right decision, undoubtedly.
They did. Yeah, they did.
Just like I love the Caleb Durbin, the team goes as they go, I love the idea that this thing always comes back to the one guy making the decisions, right? Like any turnaround, any whatever. We gave Robert Kraft so much credit for 25 years. Give John Henry the credit that where it's due.
And there's room right on this couch right here. If he ever wants to, we can take that victory lap too. If he ever wants to do that.
Let's sit down.
This side of the couch is Caleb Durbin and John Henry.
And then Breslow over here.
What do you got?
Sox.
What's Travis got?
Well, I was with Keegan. Breslow. We just made the same case. I mean, it's true. 617-582-CHAT. Get in here. Who deserves the most credit? The good thing about Henry, though, when you think about this, that's a vote of confidence to Chad Tracy. Because as you speak about pivoting, right, how many owners in sports would say, okay, look, I have this big brand, I have this opening, this guy Chad Tracy did a good job, but I'm going to go get a big fish, right? I'm going to go get a big name skipper to do this thing. No, the fact that he did pivot to him, he was willing to take that risk, would tell you, now I can stick with this guy because it's working.
And the other thing is, I think they accepted that maybe their approach in the offseason run prevention, it had the right idea.
Yes.
They've been able to piece it together better than anybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we're seeing on the field, those guys, come on, nobody had Nick Sogard playing great defense and Siegler having big games, and just nobody saw this.
Yep.
The Wilson Contreras move. Were we talking about leadership with him? No. Did we think that he was kind of one of these guys who was like this emotional player?
I wanted a bigger splash, period.
Yeah.
Most of us wanted Pete Alonso. How's that working out?
But I'm not trying to be Ness and Joe on that. My point is that when you are the worst team in baseball, or you're the worst or struggling, there's just been nobody better getting you out of the hole than John Henry in this group.
There were 40,000 people chanting "sell the team" at one point. And now every single one of them, they're selling out games.
Yep.
This is a playoff baseball town.
Yep.
We're going to be able to have that moment in a couple of months. So you call it like you see it back then, you got to call it like you see it now. If you're going to give that guy all the blame, you have to give him some of the credit.
Amen.